Hey, VC,
Yeah, we're outside the Dog's Bollocks.
Capetown, yes.
It's looking good.
I'm with Stevan
Yeah.
Buxt.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Buxt stops here, and it stopped at the Dog's Bollocks, where we had a great lunch
Yep.
and a beer,
Yep.
and a little bit of a smoke, and we're off to Voom Voom
Voom Voom Records.
Voom Voom Records.
Yeah, we're going to go and find some African stuff and just see what else is there. And then there's also a place called Revolution Records in the same street.
Oh, my.
So we might hit Revolution.
Well, we have to, I'd say.
And there's a little Ethiopian place that's over the road. So let's see what's going on. Let's go and see what's going down in Observatory.
That sounds perfect. So Stevan is showing me the town, and I have to say he's been an elegant host so far.
Yeah, thank you. It's been a privilege and a pleasure to meet Dr. Robert.
Yes, well, and vice versa. So
Absolutely.
all right, I'm going to call the Uber.
Cool.
Okay.
Nice
more
one.
More to follow.
Okay. Later.
All right, I found my favorite record store so far here in Capetown, and Steve Buxt, he's been the local host and brought me here, and he's getting a buyer's discount, a finder fee for bringing me in here.
Yes. Fantastic.
Yeah, this is a great store. Great store.
Dr. Robert and Stevan signing in from Coco Chachi Observatory. We've been record shopping quite a day. Also had a great medical discussion and around forensics and other interesting things. He got some great records I'm sure he's going to show you later. And it's been a fantastic day.
Well, it absolutely has. Steve has been just an elegant host here in Capetown. He knows the city, and by the way, the city knows him. So we've been several places, and everybody already knows him. So I will show some records later that I found today, and it was a special day, both from the standpoint of the record shopping as well as the camaraderie. So I think there's going to be. This is not the last time that we're going to be posting something, I'm thinking.
No, absolutely. Yeah. VC, we love you, and just much love.
Cheers. Hey, VC, Dr. Robert, down here still in Capetown, and been wanting to get some video up of some of the vinyl I've been finding down here, and some of the other activities we've had, which have been just great. I'm going to make one more video after this, and I'll give you a little bit of a shout out. It's going to be a little spoiler alert. It's going to be about Rodriguez albums, and a little bit about Rodriguez history, and that's one of the things I've dug into down here, and because I knew a little bit about it, and I knew I wanted to find those records, but really the local history here turned out to be something that kind of drew me in, so I want to share that in a separate video. But what I wanted to highlight today, it's always cool, buying vinyl in different cities, and it's even more interesting, I think, in a way, buying vinyl in different countries. And a big part of it is, records that are unique to the country you're in. And then, unique in the sense that the artist is maybe connected here, But then also there are a number of records that I find that are just hard to find in the States, and for various reasons. And what I'm going to highlight today, one of the biggest reasons, is in the United States, they stopped making vinyl really early 90s, 90, 91, 92. A lot of records just, never came out on vinyl, or if they did, really sold in very small numbers, were pressed in very small numbers, and they're just really hard to find. And these are by artists that otherwise have catalogs. So there are, there's a Tom Petty record, and I don't remember which one, that's really hard to find in the States from that era. There are a number of examples. But you can find those in foreign countries. And I found some in the UK a while back. I found some in Ireland. In England, I should say, and in Ireland. And I found some in Scandinavia. And now I have found some here. So I'm going to highlight a few of those. So this is one of them right here. This is a Joe Jackson record I did not have. You can see I bought it at Mabu Vinyl, where I'm about to head right now after I've filmed this, and which is going to be featured, by the way, in the Rodriguez. Spoiler alert. Sorry. So this is called Blaze of Glory. This came out in 1990. Well, I don't know. It's not on the record, but it came out in right around the era that I talked about, 1989. So I think there are U.S. versions, but again, very small numbers. Here's another one, Violent Femmes. This is one I didn't have. This is a 1991 pressing on Slash Records. This is also both of these, the Joe Jackson and this one, both are South African pressings. Here's one that I also didn't have. Love Chris Isaac and his stuff. It has Wicked Game on it from Wild at Heart. Should have known it is called Wicked Game. The name of the album is Wicked Game. 1991. Same story, right? Same story, and this is a reprise Tusk, again, a South African pressing, hard to find in the States. Here's one that is, I think, really interesting, Little Village. This is kind of a super group that formed in that era. Ry Cooder, John Hyatt, Jim Keltner, and Nick Lowe. This one I've looked up, it actually never was pressed on vinyl until recently, and now it is. But back in the day, it was never pressed on vinyl. They only put out this one record. I think there were some personality clashes. I don't know, 1992. So exactly what I'm talking about, that era when vinyl was just sort of yesterday's news back in the United States. So was delighted to find that. And there's a few here, and I'll call out Stevan Buxt. He helped me find a couple of these. These are local bands that I would not otherwise have really known. And these are not, black African bands. This one is called All Night Radio, and the record is called The Killing Floor. This band put out just a couple of records. This is mid-'80s. So the reason that this is hard to find in the States is not because of the lack of pressings. Well, there wasn't a pressing. It didn't come out in the States. So, but not because we were moving away from vinyl. It's because it was a local band here and just didn't have a following in the United States. Here's another local band, Radio Rats. This is a punk band, and this is called Into the Night We Slide. I think this is their only LP, if I understood from Discogs. And this came out in '78. I've never seen it before, never heard of them. Again, I don't think it was ever released in the United States. And here's a very interesting, this is black African music, and this was played in the store while I was there by the owner or by the manager, and really I loved it. It reminded me of Hugh Masekela. It does have singing as well as instrumental playing, but the name of the performer is Malathini, and the name of this album is Kudala Basibisa. Looked him up. He is very well known here, very famous, and has many records out. This is the first of his that I've ever come across and purchased, but looking forward to having that back home. And then I'll show a couple more. These are hard to find in the States because they are South African pressings and not because of what's on the record or the record itself. So this was an interesting one. This is called The Big Beat of the Beatles. And I think this was the first Beatles album to be released in South Africa. I may have that wrong, and correct me in comments if I am. But it's certainly an early one. And, I showed this on Rachel's stream the other day. And she and Mazzy both commented. This is the cover photos that the U.S. second, Beatles record came out with. But the songs on it are a mix of songs from the first and second album. And so very early Beatles. It has She Loves You. It has Can't Buy Me Love. It has I Want to Hold Your Hand. So, fun early Beatles stuff in a version that you otherwise are unlikely to see in the States. And then here, this was a real find. This is a top-loading copy of the White Album. This is a stereo pressing, and it's a South African pressing. One of the things I really like about this is the number, and I don't know if you can read that. It is... there, can you read that? It is a very low pressing number, if that is the pressing number. It's the same way they did it in the States and in the UK. So the number here, 4582, which would, for me, be the lowest number of any copy of the White Album I have. And I was told that those were pressed from UK masters, UK presses or plates, that were brought here for the manufacture of the records. So that just gives you an idea of a few of the things we've been seeing. I'm going to put in, as I said, some shorts from around the other activities we've had, and just for fun, and I hope you enjoy those. And I'm also going to put in a couple of interviews here with Stevan Buxt. He, again, calling him out has been really just a lot of fun as a local host, as well as very informative. So we've been hanging and have had a great time together down here. And that's also been a highlight of this trip. Lately, now that I'm kind of out there among you all in the YouTube vinyl community, really it's fun to be able to meet in person. And so that's been a highlight of the trip as well. So stay tuned. I'm going to have another video hopefully within a few days, and maybe one more after that. I don't know. We'll see. So until next time, the doctor is out.